Have you ever felt like you were placed somewhere for a reason, even when life made no sense? What if your courage could save not just your future, but the lives of thousands of people? Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful stories in the Bible, the story of Esther, a young orphan girl who became queen and risked her life to stop evil. Her story is filled with fear, faith, courage, and a reminder that God can use ordinary people for extraordinary purposes. This story is found in the book of Esther. Long ago, when the Jewish people lived under the Persian Empire, there ruled a powerful king named Ahasuerus, also known as King Xerxes. One day, the king held a great feast and called for his queen, Queen Vashti, to appear before his guests. But Vashti refused. The king became furious, and a decree was made to remove her as queen. After this, beautiful young women from across the kingdom were brought to the palace so the king could choose a new queen. Among them was a young Jewish woman named Esther. Esther had lost both her parents at a young age and was raised by her cousin Mordecai, who loved her deeply and cared for her like a daughter. But Esther carried a secret. She was Jewish. Mordecai told her not to reveal her identity. Out of all the women in the kingdom, Esther found favor with the king. Her kindness, grace, and wisdom stood out, and she was chosen to become the new queen of Persia. From orphan to queen, only God could write a story like that. But while Esther was settling into palace life, danger was quietly growing. A proud and wicked official named Haman rose to power. Haman demanded that everyone bow before him. Everyone obeyed, except Mordecai. Mordecai refused to bow because he honored God above man. This enraged Haman. When he discovered Mordecai was Jewish, Haman plotted to destroy all the Jewish people throughout the empire. He manipulated the king into signing a deadly decree, ordering the destruction of the Jews. Fear spread everywhere. Families cried out to God. Mordecai tore his clothes in grief and sent word to Queen Esther. He begged her to go before the king and plead for mercy. But there was a terrifying problem. Anyone who approached the king without being invited could be put to death, even the queen. Esther was afraid. But then Mordecai sent her a message that would echo through history forever. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Those words changed everything. Esther realized her position was not an accident. God had placed her there for a purpose. So Esther asked all the Jews to fast and pray for 3 days. Then she said these powerful words, "If I perish, I perish." What courage, what faith. After 3 days, Esther entered the king's court uninvited. The entire moment hung in silence. Would she live or die? Then the king stretched out his golden scepter toward Esther. She was spared. Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet, and during the second banquet, Esther finally revealed the truth. She told the king that she was Jewish and that Haman's evil plan would destroy her people. The king was furious. Haman's wicked scheme was exposed, and the very punishment he prepared for Mordecai came upon him instead. The Jewish people were saved. Mordecai was honored, and Esther became a symbol of bravery, faith, and divine purpose. Esther reminds us that courage is not the absence of fear. It is obeying God even while afraid. You may feel unnoticed, you may feel unqualified, but God can place ordinary people in extraordinary positions for such a time as this. The moral of Esther's story is this: God can use courage, faith, and obedience to change lives. When you trust Him and stand for what is right, He can turn fear into victory and purpose into destiny. If this story inspired you, like this video, subscribe to Show Me Faith TV, and turn on the notification bell. Comment below what stood out to you most about Esther's courage. Thank you for watching, and may God bless you.